No. Hi.
Hello. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes. While Beard gets that up and running, Beard and I are playing The Zone tonight. It is a DM-less 1 to 5 player game. I can't recall who the creator of the game is off the top of my head because I don't remember things. But as you can see, the goal of the game is to tell a weird, magical, realist horror story, mutation, self-discovery, a story about people who risk everything for an obsession, story where only one will make it to the end. Perfect. So we already know each other, I think.
Hello.
Let's go to the briefing. Welcome, volunteers. I know you've all been wondering what the zone really is and if the rumors are true. As the 14th expedition, you deserve to know what we know. And we are playing, what was the name of the adventure, Beard?
Operation Gray Squadron? Maybe.
No.
Gray Particle?
Gray Particle. Operation Gray Particle. It all started with anomalies. Locals calling in to talk radio or visiting their doctors with stories of unseasonal weather and possible objects, have sightings of unknown creatures, claimed conversations with long dead loved ones. People disappeared. Medical notes described bodies that started changing. We initiated special containment procedures, performed tests on those who refused to evacuate. Then, as if reacting to our attention, the boundary appeared and isolated everything and everyone within an area of several square miles. We don't know if there are still survivors or if they're even human. Since that moment, not a single expedition has returned. All lose contact after leaving visual range. Minutes after leaving visual range. We're going on fragments, rumors, and occasional anomalies that seep beyond the boundary. We don't know what the zone wants or if it wants. It seems to be a mirror. It manifests whatever phobias, obsessions, and memories you bring into it. The zone brings them to life to test you. There are rumors that the zone can grant your deepest wish if it deems you worthy. Sensor reading shows something incredibly powerful at its heart. Perhaps the only escape is the center itself. You're the 14th expedition. You will almost certainly not return. Good hunting, but prepare to die. The Federal Bureau of Coherence, without admitting liability, thanks you for accepting this mission. So, we're telling a movie. This game is a series of scenes, which we can choose to play in as much or as little detail as we want, describing or acting out what characters are doing. Scenes can be as short as a couple minutes, but usually 5 minutes or so. The game will last about as long as a movie. We will take turns being the director. There is no GM. We take turns as director setting up and ending scenes, and I'll share a few key moves that anyone can trigger at any time to help the story move along. No one will be forced to be on the spot for long. We're in charge of our character, but share responsibility for everything else. We will play to lose. We're not competing with each other. That's why our fates are secretly decided at the start. So we can focus on creating not so easy situations which characters will always take the bait on and always suffer the consequences. You know those moments that have you screaming, do not go in there and don't touch that at your favorite horror film? That's this entire game. All right, this is the board. It's a shared space. Unless explicitly stated otherwise, we can all see roughly the same things on our screens. If there's something only you can see, it will say only you are seeing this. I'll have to be sure not to look at your screen, Beard. This spiral of cards represents the zone. Each card is a location the expedition will go through on their one-way journey into the zone. The game starts at the zone observation facility, which is right outside the boundary. Once inside, you cannot backtrack. In each location, we will do a few scenes. Expect to do 2 or 3 scenes in each location, fewer as we get closer to the center. 1 turn equals 1 scene. There are no stats. There are no dice rolls in this game. Whenever a character tries to do something that seems like it would be not so easy for them, anyone can force them to pull a not so easy card. Not so easy cards have bittersweet outcomes that advance the story like yes, but, and no, and most of them will trigger a mutation. Trigger them often. Our fates are predetermined by fate cards. The character on the fate card must die in the scene when it is revealed, unless another player sacrifices their own character. You cannot die before your fate card, so take risks. When your character dies, you keep playing as the zone, setting up scenes as usual with nothing to distract you from making those things weird, magical, and horrible for the survivors. The game ends at the center. This is the innermost part of the zone where the final player will ask it to grant or free them from their obsession. The remaining players embody the zone and decide the survivor's final fate. Quick level set. This is a horror game, so it must be fun when we take our characters way out of their comfort zones while taking excellent care of us, the humans playing them. The X card. If something comes up in the story and we rather it didn't, press the X card button and rewind it to find another way. No questions asked. We can even X card ourselves. Okay, yep. The atmospheric silence. There will be times the player is pondering a question, helping them feels so irresistible. We don't give in. Sometimes folk need a little bit of time to think, and the creepiest horrors need their time to gestate. 3, hell yeah or no. We each have ironclad authority over our characters, and when setting scenes up as a director, it's still fun to suggest ideas and yes and a lot, but no pressure. If it's not an obvious hell yeah, no need to push it. Number 4, the players are more important than the game. That's take care of the real humans first, my friends. Let's be excellent to each other. A quick level set. What rating should your movie have? Indicate the glowing cursor. I think you have to decide, Beard. Oh, is that the glowing cursor? I don't see a glowing cursor. Mutation and death is core to the zone, but the way it's told can be as much blood-soaked B-movie as a magical realist spiriting away. Are there horrors or other reference points we'd like to see in this game? Is there any content we'd like to avoid? We'll have some X-card stuff. Or so we'll have the X-card if something comes up during the game, so no need to dwell here if it comes.
Yes. I don't think that we click it. I think it's just like talking about like how much would we want?
Well, let's choose characters. Each character will have an obsession, has a phobia, and a reason they can't go back to their old lives. All these characters share one thing. They know the zone will almost certainly kill them, but believe it's worth it to fulfill their obsession. Nice. And now we get to, I believe this is where we're choosing our character. I am going to choose... These are interesting. Did you choose already?
No, I didn't. I'm going to pick the third. Oh, Daltry Vasquez, I guess.
Is that what you're going with soldier?
Yes.
I am going to go with I'm gonna go with the chaplain.
Oh.
I need to pick your obsession. Hmm.
Oof.
Phobia. Did you pick these things?
I'm working on it right now.
Okay. Oh, you can't pick some. You have to out the hairs. Um,
Maybe when that's on, I'll just stop sharing so that
oh, okay.
you can accidentally
It's
see.
probably a one-way trip, but you're going anyway because you cannot go back. What's the reason I can't go back?
Don't tell me.
Hmm.
Can't know. We'll find out once we enter the zone.
The Thing soundtrack is Inicio Morricone is playing in my headphones right now.
Oh no.
Woo! Damn! I went dark. All right, I'm done.
Okay. Oh, it says waiting for undefined to set up their character. I don't know what that means.
It's this person down here who.
I know. Well, that's why I was worried that if they weren't here, it was gonna screw up our thing.
Is there a way for you to go in and give them the hook?
I don't know. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I've only got I just have that one open, so I don't know why it would be. It's not. So I figured this out. This is a game that I actually picked up on Kickstarter. I was very excited about it. This was still pandemic, but I kind of was like, "Oh, this would be cool to play," because the creator Raph D'amico. I'm brutalizing this individual's name, so my apologies in advance. Raph D'amico's had talked about they wanted the game to be accessible, so they were basically putting up an online tool set so you could play it. And I just fell in love with the idea of it so much, and of Raph's kind of design philosophy in that. And so I've been waiting to be able to play it for some time. And Beard was like, let's do this. Let's do this thing. Oh, okay. You did it.
I did it. I'm great.
All right. Meet your characters. Go one by one. Introduce your character to each other. I would assume that would be you first, my friend.
Name's Beardsley Stockjaw. Served proudly for 20 years. I was the first to run to the line of fire, but I couldn't save everyone. After that terrible day, I began accepting increasingly dangerous dark ops missions to try to cleanse yourself. They haunt me still. I've done terrible things for the flag. You can't stop. You do anything to protect the country you love. That's me.
I am Francisco Cieso de Sesto. Why is there a big... Oh, did it mess that up? No, I don't know what. Okay, that's weird. You were an army chaplain, strong in your faith, even amidst the grim horrors of war. On your return, you dutifully built a cozy and devoted congregation, even as your own faith started to unravel. When you were drafted by a powerful organization who believed the zone is divine, how could you say no? Do we need to talk about our obsession phobia and why we can't go back?
I don't know. I mean, the zone took something from me, and it was my dog Duke.
For Francisco, I've lost my faith. I am looking for a way to prove not just to myself, but to everyone that God's real.
Whoa.
And that he's with us always.
Mm.
I can't go back because in the slow unraveling of my faith, my relationship with God, I have destroyed many of the relationships I had with others.
Yeah.
So I saw this as my penance and opportunity to find redemption is to go into the zone, because I think the center of the zone is God.
Wow.
That's my wish, is to show the world God in all his infinite glory. All right, you're the director first.
Damn. All right. This is a scene to practice the flow of the game.
Oh, you get to choose what the setting looks like? That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
Also, I love that it's like a little green thing floating around.
Yeah. All right.
Do you want me to read? How do you want to do it?
The zone observation facility is a rustic manor and farm just outside the boundary, requisitioned by the FBC after its owners were not so lucky. Oof. All right. There are 3 parts to a scene: the setup, collaborative storytelling, and the ending. The director is in charge of the setup and the ending and facilitates collaborating storytelling by asking questions of the group. You can use the questions on the card or come up with your own. We'll use the next scenes to practice this cycle and learn the key moves. So the intro scene is the night before. Everyone shares rumors. Moves. What are moves? Who can do moves? Anyone. Any player can use the moves at any time, not just the director. The director controls the start and end of each scene. During the scene itself, they should aim to facilitate, keep things moving, ask questions, act as a tiebreaker if needed. Aim for at least one not so easy per scene. That's the whole group, not just one player. Take stock is a great way to set up a case or set up a scene. During the scene, something's not right is great for ratcheting up the action. How many scenes to do in each location? If you want to keep the game closer to 2 hours, do one scene per location. More groups do 2 or 3 scenes per location before the boundary, then only one scene in each of the locations afterwards. I think maybe since we're going to be doing a lot of figuring out the game, maybe we just do one scene per location for this round. That's what I would do. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
You're the director.
Yeah. All right. So the setup, introduce the location, decide which characters it's about. In this case, it's everyone. Set up the situation described by the prompt. Where is everyone when this starts? What are you doing? In future scenes, you're describing how everyone got there from the previous scene or locations. Ending the scene. The director ends the scene in their turn when the prompt is resolved. In this case, it's when everyone has shared a rumor. It's better to end a scene too early than too late. If you've gone off topic, end the scene. Now, set up the scene and start collaborative storytelling. When everyone has shared a rumor, click the end scene button. All right. Well, what brings you here, Padre?
So right now, Francisco is going through his pack for like the 10th time. There's one thing you do notice is there's a lot of religious paraphernalia inside of it. And I kind of look over my shoulder when you ask me that question, and I finish what I'm doing, and then I turn around and smile. I sit down and I offer you to sit down with me.
What kind of paraphernalia? Does this all seem kind of like stock religious paraphernalia, or are we
Catholic.
talking about some crazy stuff?
No, it's very much like Catholic paraphernalia.
Okay.
He was a Catholic priest.
Okay.
I sit down across from you and I kind of reach out and I put my hands on your hands and I kind of look at you and say, are you a man of God? Are you a man of belief?
I don't know what I believe anymore, Padre. Seems like everything I've got to give has been taken by this place, and I don't know how much more I got.
You're a man of question, then.
The only question I got is, how can I stay alive long enough to get back what's mine?
Pull my hands away and sit back for a moment. I've heard much about this place. That when people enter, they don't return. And I have no intention of returning. You ask me why I'm here. The simplistic answer is to see what's at the center. If I'm allowed to. Because I believe this is something greater than mankind could ever comprehend. I believe God lies in the center of the zone. The Almighty is there to judge us on this very world where our feet touch His grass. But when you talk about God manifesting on earth, we can't have God without His enemies. I believe that is why people do not return. They go in with no faith. They're found wanting. They're servants of the great deceiver. And his lies lie everywhere within the zone. So this is a test, my friend. What kind of men we are. And what kind of men we aspire to be. That's why I'm here. And then I turn back to packing and checking and rechecking the gear that I have, almost to an obsessive degree.
Um, I guess I don't know. I'm sorry. I was like out today, so I'm a little foggy. Do we feel like we have shared? I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
you
I
shared.
feel like you've expressed like you're going in there because you feel like everything's being taken away from you, and maybe that the answer to that is inside the zone, um, or at least it's something different and not this.
I don't know whether it's God or a genie or special maiden magical powers, but what I heard was if you make it to the center, you get your heart's desire, and there's nothing on the outside that's ever going to give that to me anymore. So I'll do my best to get you there and get you your answers, and hopefully,
I looked back over my shoulder and I said, "I will be your shepherd on your journey through this valley of the dark, and hopefully at the end we'll both receive the embrace of the Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost."
all right, I'm going to end this scene. You are the next director.
Okay, we're going to move to the boundary, correct?
That sounds right.
All right, perfect. All right, time to enter the boundary. The crossing will be split into 3 short scenes, one for each of the 3 key moves. Before we start the first scene, we'll do a quick overview of the 3 moves. Take stock. The expedition has entered a new location. It's Jeff's turn as director. Okay, well, so it's just kind of looks like it's every player adds a sensory detail about the scene.
Okay.
When everyone has spoken, return to the collaborative storytelling.
All right.
Something's not right. The person who triggered the move says something's not right, and they think what they think might be wrong. Another player is worse than that and describes how the player who said something's not right incorporates the escalation and storytelling continues.
Sounds good.
Not so easy. When the character describes their character doing something not so easy, interrupt by triggering this move. Anyone can say it. You can even call it on yourself. The person trying to do the thing remains what the person trying to do the thing remains what they wanted to happen, then draws a not so easy card to find out if it does. That's worded a little weird. That player then weaves the outcome and its complications, usually a mutation, into the story, and play continues.
Okay.
All right. Let's arrive to the boundary. I'm going to choose the boundary is psychological. Manifests only in your minds, triggering thoughts and memories.
Oof. Okay.
So for me, like we walk up and we can feel like air pressure change, and it's this flood of almost less like manifestation of memories, but more like getting like a synesthetic reaction to it, like remembering smells and tastes, more like sensations of memory are flooded through, and it does cause like a halt, like as we're passing through. For Francisco, he actually has to stop and take a breath, like he actually puts his hands on his knees and bends over because there is a moment of like sensory overload. What about you? Did I lose you, Beard?
Sorry, I muted it. Dog was barking. Um, shoot, I just said a whole bunch of stuff. Uh, it for me, it feels like the kind of emergence from being inside out into the cold, damp humidity of a southern summer. There's a tingling in the back of your neck when it starts to kind of condensate on you. Um, Feels thick, like you could chew it, um, and it makes your hands perspire. I just keep kind of trying to dry them off on my fatigues.
Um, so what I'm looking at is it looks basically the same, but everything feels saturated. So almost like Technicolor.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a little brighter, a little more verdant. But the other thing is just that smell.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a smell I can't put my finger on because it's a smell that smells like a lot of things, but nothing. And it's extremely enticing, but enticing for no reason I can express. There's a low end humming. It seems like the entire area we stepped into, like you called it saturated, and but not just by dampness or like that thickness of air, but it all just feels like if you've ever been around when a big storm was coming through and there's just like this almost vibration, in the air. That's what it feels like. What about you?
Yeah, I think that kind of the fuzzy energy, it's almost like a physical static, um, that it it feels as though you kind of vibrate to pass through it. It's so thick, um, and I think that smell is triggering something else, um, in terms of the different kind of flora, um, that's consistent with that kind of humidity. There's all of the kind of milieu of southern kind of sweet smells, like right before a storm blowing in on the wind. Oh, is that not what we were doing?
We just did it. So I'm
Oh, okay.
trying to get it to skip to the next.
Oh,
Okay.
I think that you have to end that.
Oh, in scene, I guess, maybe?
Is that? Do I?
Yeah, your turn.
Okay.
I thought they would not break the boundary. But apparently we're doing. Let's do all three.
Um, all right. Something's not quite right here, Padre. Feels like there's something more digging into my head, pulling things out. Mm, I don't think that what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing and what I'm smelling is what's actually here.
It's worse than that. Can you hear the whisper at back of your brain? That voice. It's tempting you. It's calling to you. It's enticing you. Can you feel it?
I don't hear anything speaking to me. I can hear whistling, dog barking.
Closer. Listen closer. Below all of it, there's a voice. It's just whispering.
I feel like it's calling me home for dinner.
That was good. Yeah, I feel like we hit that out of the park.
All right. Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. This is where we use the not so easy cards at the heart of this game. You're playing at the right level of intensity. They happen frequently. They also give you the power after death. The player with the most controls the end game. You don't leave a scene unless you've earned at least one. You can and should trigger not so easy on yourself. It's a great way to get mutations. Play to lose, touch that abnormality. Why is it not so easy to make it through the inner side of the boundary and enter the zone? You can use take stock in something to help you set this up. We already did that. Okay. Where's okay? Not so easy. Okay, for Francisco, you notice he takes his pack off.
Okay.
And he starts to dig through it. And he pulls out a small box. And he opens it up and he takes a moment to like kind of say some things under his breath, kiss a few items, and then he puts the box at the edge of where you came in.
Okay.
Almost like through gritted teeth and with a very like energy filled with just apprehension. He walks by you and he says, "We have to leave behind what was to find what is."
Oh.
Okay. Oh man. So I got a mutation. Combine a body part or emotion with one or two animal. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take an emotion. I'm gonna take.
This is only you see this. I'm just bringing it up so people can see it.
But
I don't think you should tell me.
Yeah. Okay. I wish there was a way to track that on your sheet.
Might just have to note it down.
Combine a body part or an emotion with one or two. Okay, I'm going to take. See, because I look at emotion and I'm like, how would you combine an emotion with one of these things?
I don't know. Some could be real kinky. You need some ecstasy snout, man.
Or would it be
Some
that you would attach a material to an emotion? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, why don't we
Or
just pick one and we'll just see how it plays out as we go along.
all right, let me take a look. Like body is football? Did you see that?
What's that?
Under body is the word football.
Oh, I just see foot.
I see football.
Oh, I just see foot.
I see hate and I see joints and
Arm, hand, leg, foot.
so our
skin,
forms
hair,
are
bone.
even different, which is interesting.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Okay, I got it.
All right. So describe how your character mutates, then dismiss the not so easy.
You watch me put my things, the remaining, back in my pack,
Mm-hmm.
tidy it up, sling it over my shoulder, and then I turn and I look at you,
Mm-hmm.
and my eyes are the exact same as your eyes.
Oh, that's terrifying.
All right, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think end scene. All right. Start turn. Move to the first language from the party. You are now in the zone. The next few scenes will be about exploring the zone, developing your characters, and most importantly, being very irresponsible. Remember, you will need not so easy cards for the end game. Have your characters do plenty of things that make it necessary to say not so easy. Mutations await. All right. Ooh. Let's go to the apartments. A luxurious condominium tower. The private and rich owned its penthouses, rarely needing the street level. Perhaps they're still there. Someone tries to curry favor with another. Ooh. Who most wants something from another? What will you give for it? Equipment? Secrets? Power? All right. Let's take stuff. Okay. So as we head into this luxurious condominium tower, um, Beardsley Stacha lets the preacher know that he could never have afforded something like this, but it seems like it's one of the few places that's less affected once we've been through the boundary, and it's worth taking a look. He'll say, but don't think that I don't notice that we're seeing through the same eyes now, Padre.
I smile, I pat you on the shoulder, and I said, "We all see the art through the eyes of God." I couldn't have lived here either. I also served, and when I came out, the clergy aren't exactly known for their extravagant living. But I agree, if something or someone lives here, we should at least make an attempt to make contact. Isn't that why we're here?
So we go up a couple floors, and I lead us trying to stay quiet. What do we hear that gives an indication that somebody's on the next floor?
I think it's just breathing. Heavy, labored breathing. Almost like if you've
a single entity or multiple?
yeah, I think it's like almost like an iron lung sound of like
Ooh. Luke.
yeah. Heavy iron lung, but it's like actually the vibration of it is actually enough to like make the floor we're on kind of shudder just the littlest bit. And I think that the air smells like of ozone.
Okay.
Like it's almost like it's hyper oxygenated.
Well, Father, do you want to take the lead on this one? Maybe like something that's more up your alley or more up my alley?
I will walk cautiously down the hall, running my hand along the right side of the hallway, and look back at one point and say, "It's wet." And I'll make my way to the end of the hall. To the last door on the left. It's slightly ajar. I attempt to open it, but it's not so easy. All right, here we go. No, and the zone mutates in a way that triggers someone else's phobia if no one else also triggers yours. Explain how this comes to pass and how your character mutates, then click to dismiss. Do you remember what your phobia is?
Yeah, I was going to go back in. I mean, generally, well, I don't know if I should just share it. So
I'm just saying, does yours trigger? Because if not, mine can trigger very easily.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't really apply in this situation, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, well, okay, it does, but it does so by allowing you to take point and go into the room first. I like hang back, almost kind of suspiciously.
Okay, I go to to move the wet copper door handle, and it like the door won't open any more than it's already opened. It's open enough to where you can maybe push a skinny head through, but the issue is the door handle just melts around my hand like it's alive, like an ooze, and it moves up, and now my hand up to about 3/4 of my forearm, it's just this drippy copper. I step back and I almost yell, but as I start to open my mouth, the oozy droplets almost like pull up like they're trying to go towards my mouth. So I shut my mouth and move my hand away. And then they just proceed to drop and solidify on the floor until my hand is just a coppery forearm and hand. And it's slowly, I can feel it getting tighter and tighter. But not so much I can't move it. I can just move it with a struggle. But the doorknob is gone. Actually, the whole door mechanism is gone, and there's just a hole to be able to see into the room now.
Right.
You watch me pull out my combat knife, and I start to look like, should I cut this off? Like I look panicked, like I think it's just going to continue to move,
Yeah.
but you can notice it stopped. Like not in a clean line, but like it's solidified more like wax.
Okay. Huh.
But I'm looking at you with this kind of look of like, oh.
Does it seem like something? Okay. But it doesn't look like it's inhibiting your ability to.
No, think of like if you've if you have like arthritis or tendonitis or anything like that, or your joints get super stiff and just struggle to get them to work correctly.
Okay.
It's more like that. It's just, it's discomfort. It's not just hard. It's actually slightly painful.
Okay. Well, can we still hear the?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like we're gonna have to find another way in there if we still want to go.
I seem preoccupied with my arm right now.
All right.
Like you can see me internally debating whether I'm just going to chop it off.
Okay. So I mean, I think I'll. I think I'm going to come over with a little like I'm going to come over and take a look at it and see if I can discern what's going on. Do you feel like you can move it? Like if Beardsley were to, kind of move this thing, do you feel like
Move which thing?
you're wait, what is it affecting? Your arm.
So yeah, my right arm
Okay.
from the hand is covered all the way about 3/4 to the of the forearm is just covered in copper.
Okay.
Like a liquid copper that is now solidified.
Okay, it's solidified.
But it's still got a little bit of malleability, so I could actually close my hand, but with some effort.
Can you make a fist for me, Father?
You can hear it just kind of bending. With effort, open it back up again.
Can you feel when I touch you?
No. Doesn't even knock against the copper. Tink, tink, tink. It doesn't. I don't feel it. Just inside, I feel like it. I feel it. It aches horribly.
What's that door made out of, Ben?
Wood.
All right.
It's a thick, nice hardwood door, but it's also been there for a while without upkeep and in a temperature and humidity level that has been all over the place. So,
all right, hold on tight, Father. We're gonna go in and see what's making this tick. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna pull 9mm, and I'm going to kick in the door. Wait, are we? We haven't really set up the scene.
yeah, we did.
Well, no, I mean, like, I don't feel like we're done with the scene, though.
No, not at all. I think, yeah, you're busting in the door is like the.
All right. I'm gonna bust in the door.
Well, then I'm going to give you this.
That's not so easy. All right. No, but oh. Okay. I can feel the I can feel. Oh man. Let's see. I don't. Okay, combine a body part or emotion with one or two animal, plant, or myth.
I don't think that's like the be all end all of it though either.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of like what
if
makes
what you like, this is just me spitballing here, and please do not take this. You want your dog back, right?
Yeah.
I would be like, you feel it crawl its way out of you. Like Adam used a rib to create Eve.
Yeah.
Supposedly. You literally have to pull your dog out of you.
All right.
And that would be a mutation. It's like you literally give birth to a dog, but not like give birth. Like it just, you have to pull it out of you.
I think that as I do that,
my mutations have not been near as cool as that mutation is.
You can see where my heart starts to like glow with bioluminescence and starts to kind of like.
Is it so bright it's through your like? I'm sure we're wearing
yes,
like, protective
absolutely,
gear.
100%.
Okay,
and you see me kind of like clawing at my body. And as I pull it away, there's like this blooming that like comes out of inside me, and you see me literally like pulling this like nascent thing out of me that like as it emerges even starts to like incorporate into the body of a dog, and it falls to the floor, and so do I, but that door is still very closed, and both of us are just kind of exhausted, laying on the ground.
Is it now like a full-fledged dog, or is it still just like?
It's like kind of puppy-ish, like, but like it's been like rebirthed almost.
So I back away in horror and I run away.
All right. Well, I don't. Okay.
I think that would probably end this.
The scene. All right. So.
What do you think? Move to the library, like you chasing me, or do another part?
Yeah. I mean, you could move to the library, and well, let's just try move to the library and just see how. I'm interested in kind of how the pacing works in the game, without kind of going too deep.
All right. Yeah, I book it. Like I leave the building, I'm just like, oh my god, oh my, Dios míos. I mean, I've just seen you give birth to a dog. That's the work of the devil. You're false. I run into the nearest building because I see something in the nearby underbrush, like keeping pace with me. Something large, and I think quadrupedal. So I book it into the library, and I push. I shouldn't say I try to push one of the metal bookshelves in front of the door, but do we have to take that? Apparently we do.
Hmm. Okay. I can pick that up. Oh,
I was going to pick it up. Um, uh, I push it. I try to push it over, and it takes everything I've got.
uh,
And when I do, the copper on my arm like moves off like a living thing onto the metal shelf and knocks it over. And then I watch as it drips all over it, turning it copper.
hmm.
I look back down. My hand is glowing with a what Francisco would call a heavenly light. Um, and I use it to illuminate. You know, it glows. I shouldn't say it. Look at it. Almost glows like a. Francisco sees it as heavenly light. It actually almost glows like a firefly.
Hmm.
And Francisco uses it to walk around this immediate part of the library and take a look at what's there. Um, there's keyboards still, but all the monitors are gone.
Hmm.
And I hear a scuttling. I never quite see it, but I'll notice that some of the books I see on the floor, when I turn away from them and I look back, they're not where they were previously. And I hunker down.
Hmm. Okay. Um,
What about you?
I feel like
Did you finally look in that apartment?
no, I couldn't get in. Um,
Didn't
that
look through the keyhole or through the where the doorknob was?
no, it's completely gone. The door itself is kind of unchanged by my desire to open it, but when I come to, I just see little baby Duke laying next to me, and
All your
uh,
focus.
and yeah, I mean, I recognize that the chaplain isn't there, and recognize that I can't leave you alone. So I'm gonna scoop up little baby Duke and grab my grab my piece. Um, can I still hear the breathing? Yes,
Yes.
but I don't care as much as I care about locating Father DeSesto.
So you move your way outside, then I take it. So you're gonna follow the road, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna head. I'm gonna head towards the library.
So something's not right as you're doing that.
Okay.
So what is it? Oh, I have to tell you what I think is wrong. Um, something's not right. You can feel it more than you can see it. There's something um, in the undergrowth nearby where there were probably at one point was lined with well manicured trees and bushes. It's now like overgrown. Um, and there's something distinctly in those that underbrush, and it's clocking you. You know when you've been watched, and you're being watched.
It's worse than that, Ben. I don't know if I'm even capable of dying because I don't feel my heart beating in my chest. I only feel it beating in Duke.
That's when you notice the thing that's clocking you. You're right. It's not clocking you at all. It's clocking Duke.
Mother trucker.
You can almost hear the sniff, that kind of animalistic predator scenting you. Like it's trying to find exactly where you are while it's watching you. Like something's throwing it slightly off. You're not sure what yet, but it's on you. And it's got your scent, or it's got Duke's scent to be more realistic about it.
I see that the library is the closest thing to me, and I feel like my best shot is to get inside another building and be able to have a defensible place. So I can't lose Duke again. So I'm gonna make a break for it.
You can hear it's I was about to do the same thing to you. And you can hear it. It's footsteps keeping up.
Okay. Well, I am running away. I recognize that I'm slowly shifting from running bipedally to quadrupedally. And little Duke is riding on my back as I gallop into the front of the library and burst in.
You gonna break it down?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Bloop, 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 bloop.
You burst in.
Yeah.
And as you're attempting to burst in, Francisco opens fire on you.
Oh shit!
But it doesn't work.
Hell yeah, it doesn't work.
The gun melts.
The gun what?
Melts.
Oh shit! Where'd you get that gun anyway, Padre?
Well, he would have had it. Plus, he was a chaplain in the army, so he knows to use a firearm.
Oh, I didn't know he was a chaplain in the army. I thought it was just chaplain.
No, he was a chaplain in the army. I said it at the beginning.
I missed that.
Yeah, it melts. Like he thinks that thing's burst in. He lines up to shoot, his glowing hand holding the gun, and it was just as he begins to pull the trigger, the metal melts just like the copper melted before. It oozes onto his other hand and begins to solidify.
All right.
All right. Wow, is that our library? Do we need to finish resolving this library scene?
Yes.
I think you're. Oh, I'm the director right now.
Yeah.
I can smell the dog.
My dog?
You both smell like a wet dog.
Yeah, we do.
I've never been a dog guy. I was a cat guy.
You would be.
Dogs made me nervous. While loyal, they're not. A cat can hurt you. A dog can kill you. And that makes me very nervous. And when the dog enters, when quadrupedal you enters with the dog on its back, the books that were kind of moving before in a way you couldn't see them show that they have the many legs of insects and they scatter, looking for places to hide. And it's dark. It's beginning to get dark. And I panic. I've got one hand that is glowing and the other hand slowly solidifying with carbon steel from my handgun that no longer exists. So I stumble backwards and I fall into the swinging door of the bathroom.
Father, this place is everything that you said it was going to be.
Are you talking or
Yeah.
do you? I don't hear talking.
Oh,
I hear barking.
barking. Well, it seems like communicating is going to be not so easy. Oh no. Okay. I am going to continue barking in a way that like seems desperate and aggressive. But I'm going to try to kind of bring Duke along with me to try to show you. And I can hear myself shouting, but I also can't seem to understand you either. And you can see that the outgrowth from my heart is starting to grow up my body and up the sides of my head.
I push the big metal trash can in front of the door when I regain my feet. I look around the room. There's a high, small window. I'm not a big man. I'm tall and lithe. I crawl up on the scaffolding of the partitions.
Climbing out that window, Padre.
I throw my pack out first, and then I tumble out afterwards. And I run.
Do you run towards a campfire? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I do run towards the campfire. And as I pass the library, I see the thing from the woods, and it's outside the library, and it's trying to get in.
All right. Beyond this point is the most dangerous part of the zone. Soon, characters will die. But for a few hours, you're safe. Ooh, go around and share your theories about the nature of the zone. Optional. Now is a good time for any unresolved character relationships. What? This might be your last chance. All right. So, let's say that in order to... Well, how do we want to get us both there?
I think I get there and I'm too exhausted to go on. And then I would assume you stroll up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to say I am walking not on all fours.
How did you get out of the library is what I want to know. Like what happened at the library. So I run, this campfire is already there.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. And some of it's from just absolute abject terror.
Mm-hmm.
And I just collapse. Like
I
can't run any further.
I think when I walk up, I don't think I'm telling you how I got out of the library.
That works. Are you walking up more? You're walking on bipedal.
I'm walking up more bipedal. I have Duke with me, and I still have all of the kind of flowery, kind of green, the green accoutrement. But I'm walking upright. I look maybe a little worse for wear, but I walk up and see you sitting by the fire, or laying by the fire, and I just like quietly sit down if you're sleeping.
I'm awake. I make sure that the fire is between us.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you, Father, everything you said was about the zone was correct. It's given me everything that I wanted, and it's restored me in a way that I can't describe. Nothing has ever restored my faith so much as having my dog back, and I feel whole.
I think Francisco sits quietly does not answer
Do you
for
think this is heaven, Padre?
for a long time. Like he contemplates what you ask. He says, I have often thought that heaven
Sorry.
is what God gives us. All I see here is suffering. I've suffered, and perhaps that's what God has given me to prove my worth. It doesn't bother you that all of this gift of what you desired came so easily, so quickly?
You act as if I didn't give anything to give it, Father, but my still beating heart,
That
that
doesn't
thing, that thing.
concern you either, that you no longer have your heart?
Listen, I haven't had my heart since the day this place took Duke from me, and now we go in
And now it
here in
gives it,
search of
and
something
now it
sacred.
gives your dog back. That
Maybe
doesn't
it's
concern you.
maybe it's salvation, Father. Maybe this is what you're always telling stories about on Sundays. Maybe this is heaven come to earth. Maybe I was viewed as a righteous man. Maybe I'm getting for once what I deserve instead of things being taken from me. Maybe I've been proven worthy.
I hope so. I truly hope so. Then I turn my back on you and I go to bed.
All right. I think that that's good. I think that's muy good. Pew.
You're not halfway. This is a great time to take a few minutes to stretch. Got a snack there. Okay, okay. Let's go move to the prison.
Oh sheesh.
Still safe. Human sounds come from within, but you can't see inmates or guards. When you look away, lights seem to glimmer behind bars.
Oh shit.
Um,
I'm sorry. I just have to
I
point out. Did you see
yeah,
Spike's comment? Okay.
I saw. Everything looks too pristine. Looks a little too clean.
The prison does.
The prison.
Okay.
It looks like it's been extremely well maintained. Um, Even the grass and the bushes and the trees that look so overgrown in other places don't look that way here. They look trimmed, kept. In fact, it smells like fresh cut grass. The door of the front gate of the prison, the double gate, iron gate, is just slightly ajar.
Oh.
I look at you. I'm keeping about a good 5 feet away from you. And I look at you and say, it sounds like there's people inside.
You say that to me.
Mm.
Well, last time we went after the sounds of people didn't sound so good, Doc. Is this really someplace you want to go?
I think if I'm going to find and I look you up and down, look at the dog especially, and I say salvation, then this is something I have to do on my own. And I start to walk into the prison.
Padre, I feel like something's not quite right. You notice this place is a little different from everything else.
When I walk through the gate, like I kind of have to push my way in.
Mhm.
It doesn't look the same as it does on the outside.
Oh,
And I look back at you, and you can kind of see me through the gate, but I look filthy. Like I look gross. And I say, it's worse. It's worse than that. This is an abattoir. And it looks like something horrendous happened in the other side of this gate. There's dried blood stains. There's body parts. There's the building is not intact on this side. And the smell, that sickly sweet smell of rotting, just permeates the air. I try to take another step, but it's not so easy.
it's not so easy. Ooh, ooh. It's not so easy for Ben.
Oh, wait.
Oh no.
I can just do this. The smell, I think, is what gets me more than anything else. It's a smell that Francisco has smelled before when giving last rites to people he served with who had been the victims of improvised explosions, where they were bleeding out and they were dying. And sometimes they were dying while still burning or fire being put out. You could smell them cooking. And trying to find the wherewithal to show them mercy and kindness in the face of this horrific event. Some of it required having the hardest of hearts in order to not vomit. Francisco starts to vomit. He gives in. And as he does so, he stops being able to smell.
Oof.
And those parts of my olfactory center, some of my sense of touch, some of my sense of hearing, some of my sense of sight, they you can see the tissue matter in the vomit, slightly pulsating still, but out, as I just become completely numb to the outside of this.
Oof.
But I am filled with light. So now those spots inside of me where those things would be, I just glow. So that glow in my hand is now coming out of different parts of me. So when I open my mouth to speak, there's a light that looks like it's inside that you can still see. Like when I open my mouth and like this, you can see like it flash almost like a beacon behind my eyes. You can see a faint light from out of my nostrils. I have darker, like Latin, Hispanic kind of melanin skin, but even that can't dampen. Like if it was me and I had my translucent skin, I'd look like the fucking Human Torch. But because I have a darker pallor of skin, it gives like this beautiful soft glow over my whole body from the inside out. And you hear that horrid sound of this coming out of me. And all of the noise from beyond the wall just stops.
All right. Can we pause for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. We'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, I didn't know you were like leaving. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I will be back. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah. So, I saw some people are using this as a background noise because they're watching Raw in the playoffs. I'm not sure what sports in the playoffs now because I just don't care. I would be intrigued if you're watching Raw. What's Pepsi Phil's feud coming out of Bad Blood now that whole thing with McIntyre is over. Shaggy, Spike. I don't think anyone else is paying any attention to this drivel tonight. What are your thoughts? What do you think of the zone? I'd be intrigued to hear people's thoughts and opinions. I am finding this very enjoyable. It's definitely, it definitely feels like more in the vein of Fiasco. So I think while it's a good game with two people, it's probably a better game either as a single player game or with three or more. Just because sometimes bouncing ideas between you and one other person, storytelling between you and one other person, it's sometimes hard to always hit the mark. I don't think we've had too much of a problem with that tonight, but I do think that it's not always the easiest to do. So yeah, I always like when I get a chance to play Spike. Sometimes it's definitely nice. I don't get to really do it very often. You can definitely see like Beard and I are having to come to like an interesting. Does it feel cinematic? Would be another thing I would ask. Does it feel like we're telling a movie, or at least the broad strokes of a movie? But you can see Beard and I having to meet in the middle when it comes to tone, because Beard is definitely was kind of telling a little bit different tone story, I think, than I was, and I'm having to lighten and he's having to darken, and I really think that's always interesting, especially since we didn't say like, hey, what are we doing tone wise? Are we going like hard R? Are we going PG-13? Because I feel like I was maybe going hard R and he was maybe going PG-13, and now we're going kind of PG-17 or so. I'm glad it feels cinematic, Super Spike, because I think that's the goal for games like this is for it to feel like excuse me, I am really tired all of a sudden. To feel like you're trying to portray in like the most broad overview of film. Easier for me because I've got a sweet playlist going on right now that seems to fit the whole vibe, which probably is affecting some of the vibe. But it is what it is. Shaggy, I didn't get my Raw update. Also, I will say I did watch a little thing with the Outrunners and FTR that I legitimately laughed very hard at. And Beard and I talked wrestling this weekend for like an hour and a half. So heel turn might in a different fashion, the HEAL heel turn might return. I don't know. I have a hankering to talk about wrestling. So also, just for you guys who watched, since we're still waiting on Beard, for you guys who watched the Bad at Games thing on Sunday, I have since played a little bit. Haven't died still, knocked on the table. We have some new boys in our group. Since we lost Tracksuit Mafia, we have some new folks. I wish I knew how to give them things, because I'd love to just be like, give everybody tracksuits. Just like I said that thing about the Outriders and FTR, the Midnight Express theme song came on my headphones. I'm sorry to hear that the game, or that you're so tired, man. That stinks. Still alive, yes. I have cleaned up the house. I've now hit the 3 houses in the neighborhood, pretty much for everything. Secured everything, and the house we are in. Kind of organized stuff a little bit. Got it stored a little bit better. Like I said, we have some boys. Got walls up on both sides. So the next time I go, let's say I stream the game, it'll be like mission oriented. Like, we need to get a generator. We need a antique oven, which the only place I know where those are at are in the warehouse that is far away. And I'd like to hit Gigamart. I would like to storm Gigamart. I'd like to storm the gas station and the police station yet. So we've got business to handle.
Yeah, we got business to handle.
Yeah, I've been watching their little videos that are so good. I find them very entertaining. So, and the thing they do with FTR, it was like literally laugh out loud funny. Excuse me. If you haven't seen it, let me know, and I'll just send you guys the YouTube video of it. But yeah, I found it to be absolutely perfect in tone and tenor. So Beard's back. Let's get back into it.
Yo.
What were we doing, Beard?
Well, I just heard some grotesque sounds coming from the boundary of the prison, and then
I come stumbling out and I shut the gate behind me. And I look at you and I say, it's been...
Say that again?
I look at you and I say, it's been days. Where have you been? It's been days. And I open my bag and you see like all my MREs and everything is gone. Like I've eaten through everything. I counted up to 4 days and then I lost track of time. I look like I haven't shaved and I stink. But that light, baby, still that shining light.
I feel like we've got to get out of here.
Well, you've never been in, and I went in, just the gate was all you could see me go in.
Well, yeah, that's enough for me, man. It feels like there ain't no heavenly light coming from there, Padre. I feel like we got to get you to the center to get you healed.
Like, I don't look like I'm like too beat up or too. I just look exhausted. I just kind of look at you with like almost like a exasperated look, and I pick up a stick that looks walking stick sized.
This is a good stick.
This is a good stick. And I start walking down the road.
All right. Hey, Chaplain. Let's go to the mall. Let's go to the mall.
All right.
Wow. Hmm. Ooh.
What are you going with, brother?
I feel like there's always money in the banana stand, and there's always creepy little tinctures at the flea market.
Charlie Bronson's always got rope.
Tend to the local market, local farmers, souvenir vendors, local crafts. You could find anything here if you looked hard enough. And yet, it looks deserted. Someone discovers an anomaly and tries to hide it from the others. Ooh. When we get there, Father DeSesto, it's abandoned. But there's still plenty of oddities about. This is a true flea market, kind of medium-sized, rural community style market. We got everything from souvenirs to hokey majoki to what I think many people might view as bull crap, talismans and things like that. What do you see that is also glowing here?
I see a inside one of those claw machines. I see that there's something like there's a fanny pack in there that's glowing. There's something definitely like there's something like glowing, much like myself, in that fanny pack, enough to catch my attention.
Do you like hobble your way over there? Do you let me know about it?
Not initially, no.
Okay. And what do you find that makes it worth hiding?
You see me like go over and pop one of the cash registers and pull out a roll of quarters and start playing this claw machine.
Okay.
It takes me a good $4.25 to finally get a hold of that thing. In the meantime, I do pull up a couple things. I just toss them behind me. Finally, I get the fanny pack.
$4.25, King? It's not crazy.
It probably isn't, because I bet you that machine costs $4.50 a pull. All right. Well, are you doing? I think I'm doing this.
You're doing it. Yeah, I couldn't resist.
Oh, God dang it. All right.
It's like it's multi-ball madness.
Um, much like earlier, parts of my senses continue to dwindle away. And this time it happens when both of my eyes solidify
Mm.
and fall out of my head, clacking onto the ground with the metal that had been on my arm.
Oh,
The gun. They're now just two steel balls that look like eyes.
look like my eyes, or do they look like your eyes?
Yours. They always stayed looking like yours. So being blind, you'd think this would make things easier or harder. It does not. It just so happens I'm really good at the claw machine. And for whatever reason, I can still see the light coming out of there.
Mm.
So I pull.
That's crazy, man.
I reach into the fanny pack. In my hands, I look at this light. And then I show it to you. And you see nothing.
Can I see that your eyes are no
Yeah.
longer in your
Oh,
head?
they're just holes.
Okay.
Have you ever seen someone who's had cancer and had to have their eyes removed? They're just holes. I will pull out a pair of sunglasses and cover the holes though, because I didn't want to make you any more uncomfortable.
Mm.
And then I put the fanny pack on because fanny packs are cool. You see me like I should not be able to, but you can see a few tears coming out of where my eyes used to be.
Padre, I think we got to get you to the Center Toot Suite if you're going to find your salvation. I surely don't think we're finding it here at the mall.
I think you're wow. I think you'll see more when we reach the center. I smile, the biggest, most genuine smile. You see me smile.
Oh, that's terrifying. All right. The way.
All right, here we go. Move to the farm.
Mm-hmm. At this point, Beardsley is of the mind that the chaplain is going to be judged one way or the other when we reach the center. He got his wish a little early, but he views it kind of as his mission to get the chaplain to where he needs to go, so he can find out his truth.
So this massive farm just looks wrecked. The crops are dead. The rows are bent in 100 different directions. You could smell that everything's rotted on the vines, and all of the fancy high-tech equipment that we would have used to farm at that level is just wrecked. The one thing that has you concerned, since you can see it, is there's a combine that looks like something with two hands reached in the middle of it and tore it asunder. And the two parts of it are not laying anywhere near one another, like they'd been tossed.
Padre, I think we're going to have to be nice and quiet. We're going to make it through here.
I don't like that prompt very much. There we go.
Mhm.
Perfect. Kind of walking out of kind of one of the trashed areas comes a relatively impeccable dressed farmer. Carrying a pitchfork, looks like it's been really well taken care of. It's a nice wide brimmed farm hat. It's in maybe the nicest looking set of overalls you've ever seen. While the only thing that seems to be portraying any type of dirt or grime are the boots. Everything else looks pristine down to the little white handkerchief tucked in the bibs. And he walks up and says, "Whew! It's a hot one out today. You two lonely boys walking down this road through my farmland. Look at that scrappy little pup you got there. He looks hungry. Don't he look hungry? Oh, my apologies to your impaired friend. I think I got something for him to eat around here." Reaches in to his pocket and he unfolds a handkerchief. If you've ever been around farmers and you've seen them stick food in a handkerchief, usually like a muffin or, sometimes a piece of cheese.
Mhm. Yeah.
He bends down. He
I
opens
was
it up.
waiting for.
I got a little something for him right here. He opens it up and there's a beating heart. And he leans it down to Duke, who looks like he's about to lick it.
I'm going to try to.
Hey, baby, we always got them pockets in there. Also, I don't know if you've been keeping up with Adventure Zone at all, but Clint has been taking to saying baby a lot. And now they're all so mad at him because he'll be like, "Don't worry about it, baby." And they'll be like, "I am not your baby. Don't ever say that again. Stop saying that." He started doing it during Abnormals now, and they're just like, "Clint, we're not having this. This is not continuing from the live shows." He did it to Griffin like 3 times, and Griffin was like, "Dad, if you call me baby one more time, I'm gonna throw this empty can at you." All right, what are you doing?
I'm going to step between Duke and the heart.
"Oh, you want a little taste?" Leans it up to it, right underneath your nose. And while it looks like it's bloody, beating heart, it smells really good. Way better than the MREs you're slowly but surely running out of.
Sir, I appreciate it, but I've already been.
Oh, then why are you turning down my hospitality? Have you no manners?
I got a delivery to make. And, well, I do appreciate the offer. I feel like
You're going to
friends
break my heart.
got places to go.
I can hear it breaking. Can you hear it breaking? Your poor dog. Look at him. He's skin and bones. And you watch Duke get skinny.
Mm. I'm going to reach in my pocket and get something to feed Duke. And
that old dusted nothing. You can't feed a good dog like that. Those aren't even table scraps. Come on now, son. I'm just trying to help you and this poor, beautiful beast out.
The only help we need is each other, sir.
He reaches down, he grabs a trowel out of his pocket and says, "Here, I'll even show you where I come from." Gets down, squats down, and digs down in the dirt a little bit, pops a heart out of the ground. Fresh as the day was planted, he tosses it at you.
I'm gonna Samoa Joe the heart, and I'm just gonna.
You do that, and Duke bends down and starts to go to town on it.
What?
He's hungry, and something's not right about it, because it makes you want to get down on all fours because you're really hungry. Damn, does that smell good?
I feel like.
This is the part where you're supposed to say it's worse than that.
It's worse than that.
How's it worse than that?
It tastes good too.
It does. It tastes so good you dig up another. And another. And another. And you're finding it's hard.
That's not so easy.
You're finding it's hard to get back off your four legs. But Duke looks real good right now. Look at that shiny coat.
We're able to continue to dig these up, and he and I are looking more like ourselves. But as I'm doing it, I share that Duke didn't die from the zone. Duke died because I left the gate open and he got out. And by the time I found him, it was too late. And that I had to bring him out and bury him. And where I did that at our favorite place to go and play, that area was eaten up by the zone.
Oh my God, that was good, man. That was real good, James. Damn. You do that, and you just find it easier to kind of stand up back straight. Duke is full grown at this point and looks up at you, and you see the Duke you remember looking at you, not a puppy. Like, you literally are looking at your dog. And you, as you stand up straight, you see like this just this anathema, this not anathema, this malaise almost that kind of just is around you, and you can see this farmer. He's just like, look at them fingers, just going, ooh, whew, patting his stomach, which is distended a little bit. Now, I hope you're as full as I am. And that's when you see the knife go right through his throat.
Yeah. Is that the Reverend?
He says, "It took me a while because he got quiet when you got loud." Oh shit. um. Ooh. And the fancy farmer falls face down, and where the knife went in and where the blood splattered out, all of a sudden starts to burn on the ground, but also on Francisco. Smolders at first, but then you watch it almost like acid eat all the way through, like creating holes. And he's got a reasonable amount of splatter on him. Francisco hollers out and falls backwards, trying to, smear this off of him. And that's when the farmer gets up and starts to puff. Like you see his body swelling and almost like pustules, and they just start to burst. And he gets bigger. He's like almost pushing his way out of this form until you see something that definitely looks like it's something that could rip a combine in half. Just slavering maw looking at all three of you. You look down, and Francisco is got holes all through him, and he's not breathing.
Well, that doesn't look good.
The only thing you can see, though, is the light shining through those holes.
Is the ashes all stopped burning? He does have holes, but is he still like withering away or no?
It's like you've seen like Aliens. You've seen like acid go through stuff. It's like that. It's movie acid.
All right. I'm going to take off my jacket and wrap it around him and throw him over my shoulder and book it.
He's not breathing.
I know.
But he's still moving.
Hey,
and
there's only one way.
Pushes off of you, and he looks at you and he says, "We have to stop this here." It's still just growling away at you.
That is fundamentally not what Beardsley believes. He believes these are all like tests and they are obstacles to get to the center. Like he believes at the center, that's where the chaplain's
going to be. You leaving?
Is
Beardsley? Yes. Okay, Beardsley leaves.
He's picking him up. He's throwing him. He's going.
Oh, he does not go with you. He refuses. He tells you to run if you're going to run.
Well, that doesn't. Okay. Well, then we're not.
Okay. This thing, you watch one of Francisco's legs fall off from the acid, and you see just light there. And this light taking the place of flesh, he falls to his knees, and you can hear him begin to pray. And this thing swallows him.
All right.
And then falls to the ground. And he bursts out of its guts. Just a flaming light with just some skin, clothes, and bones still sort of attached, but slowly sloughing off.
Sloughing off, like leaving the area, or
No, it's still like parts of his outer form are still like attached.
Yeah.
They haven't all the way just burned or fallen off. But you just see like it's the shape of a person, but it's light.
okay.
He bends down and picks up his stick and says, "Where are we going?"
To meet our fate.
He says, "I think I would like that."
Well, then let's do it, mother fudger. Whoa! All right, we are going to go to the subway.
I'm really torn here.
All right, we reached the subway, where automated shuttles are still eerily running. Plexiglass doors and electric transit cars now follow their own schedule. So as we get down into it and you are glowing, Duke and I walk down. No. 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 No, we just do that. All right, that's interesting. So our encounter is we're tempted by an intelligent, impossibly beautiful creature. But this is a creature that I can't see, but you begin to describe, and I'd like you to describe it. It shows up in one of the randomly running shuttles.
In our shuttle or in a different shuttle?
In a different shuttle. We come down into the subway, and these shuttles are just running.
Okay, so we're not getting on a shuttle.
We're not getting on a shuttle, not yet.
So one of the shuttles pulls up and disgorges its passenger. That's only one passenger. And this passenger's feet don't touch the ground. They wouldn't be sullied with the ground. A set of small, ethereal, glowing wings keep it aloft. You think, but it's hard to tell because you think wings so small wouldn't be able to keep a full-grown person off the ground. This woman looks like every hope and love either of us have ever had, of either gender, of any dream, of any lust, perfectly amalgamated into form. They seem to be moving with purpose until we catch their view, we're caught in their periphery, and they stop, and they slowly turn their head and face us. And even without my eyes, I can see this glorious vision. And they proceed to move towards us in a deliberate, slow fashion. When they speak, it sounds like every voice that's ever brought us peace. In a chorus. But soft, sonorous, and inviting. Well, I didn't expect to meet anyone here today. Is he yours? And she floats down to one knee, never touching the ground, and offers her hand to Duke.
We're each other's.
She looks at the dog and says, "Is he yours?" And he looks back up at you and licks your hand. Traveling today? She kind of looks you over.
One of us.
Well, you seem to be the one dressed for travel. You seem to be, and she looks at Francisco, disheveled. But it's a good look.
No, see, that's where you got us wrong. I already came to where I need to be, but
Did you
bothered
now?
here. I did. I didn't think that that's where I was going, but it's where I ended up.
I think that's what most of us find on our way there. So we find that thing that we've been looking for, and it becomes easy just to stay. I certainly have. You know, if you have found what you're looking for, and you don't feel like you need to go further, you can always stay. It's so much easier when you just stay. Most people don't make it this far. There's very few of us. We all agree we made the right decision because we found what we were looking for.
I feel like if only one of us is traveling today, then somebody's got to pay a toll to get him there. It seems like Duke and I can stay behind and pay that ferry for our good friend here.
Oh, no toll. You just get to stay. Francisco pulls you aside. I don't know what this is. But I will be honest, part of me does want to stay. But part of me needs to know. I can't ask you to stay, and I can't ask you to go. You have to make that decision to board that next train.
Padre, I already found what I was looking for, but it seems like you still have questions to answer. And only one of us is traveling today. You heard the thing. He said the thing. Ah!
I don't think that's a thing. I think that's a person who stayed. I think she is what she says she is. I don't know what that means. If you stay, I don't know what any of this is. I just know that if you were letting me choose, I'm going. Because it's what I have to do.
Well, if you come back this way and I figure her out, I'll let you know.
So I have like, you can see like part of my face and it's just empty because it's just a glow behind it.
Yeah.
You see like part of where my, probably like that part of my mouth tries to force its way into a smile. It says, I won't be coming back. He bends down and he lets your dog sniff him. And then he pets him on top of the head. He says, it was good to meet you. He stands up, says the same thing to you. And he gets aboard the shuttle.
All right.
What happens?
As the doors are shutting, you see a light erupting in the background, and as the doors click shut, you see everyone in front of you evaporate in a large flash of light, and you are transported on. All right.
Okay, you're the zone now.
Yeah. Once your character dies, you transition to embodying the zone. You still take normal turns as director, use all the moves and so on. Now is a chance to focus fully on creating the weird, magical, and horrible situations with remaining players, checking on their obsessions and phobias so you can incorporate them into scenes. All right.
Chaplain is at the center. Here at the center, here at the heart of the zone, the chaplain will finally be able to express the wish that they brought them all this way. What will the zone do with that wish? That's for everyone else to decide, using the not so easy cards gathered on this journey. Okay, the center, part one. The lone survivors made it to the legendary center of the zone first to find the center together. What is it?
I think that it is staggering beauty.
I would agree with that. I think it's just a complete embodiment of the word.
Yeah.
I would say if he still had his eyes, they probably would melt and fall out.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
I agree. Let's meet the center. All right. Francisco Ceseo de Sesto, you came into the zone driven by an obsession, which was redemption. You had lost your faith and are looking to prove yourself worthy of God's love and forgiveness. All right. Do a short flashback about the origin of this obsession. Does it still drive your wish? Then describe how the zone tells you what it's ready to hear, that it's ready to hear this wish.
Francisco saw a lot in the army, and a lot of that, like we talked about earlier, like watching people die and giving them the last rites in combat, and the like, was hard. And he felt that even though those things happened, God's love and beauty was still there for them all. It wasn't until he came back and saw some of the things in the church itself. Francisco got himself caught up in whistleblowing a higher member of the Catholic Church for inappropriateness with a minor. And that person just happened to have just enough influence and friends with influence that nothing really happened. And Francisco struggled mightily with that, going so far as to drive to the man's house in a ski mask with a pipe, breaking in, never saying a word, but physically threatening him with violence, and wanted so badly to enact what he felt would have been God's righteousness upon this person. Using the word person, loose the definition of person loosely, but he couldn't. Instead, he left. And the next day, he was transferred to another church very far away, to a much smaller congregation, one that he was not mentally or emotionally strong enough to handle, because his faith had been tested, and he was found wanting. So he slid to the point where he turned his vestments in and said, I can't do this anymore. It's not that I don't believe in God, I just don't believe in this. But he also crisis of faith, because if the church is the word of God and we allow this, well, what does that mean about the word of God? So for the last 6 months or so, he spent his time working in soup kitchens and the like, and been eking by financially. And throughout this, he has simply cut off ties to everything and everyone and poured himself into just trying to figure out his life. Like, what am I doing? And it all kept coming back to one thing. His entire life, he's known since he was 11 that he believed in God and that he wanted to serve God, the will of God. And he doesn't know how. And he's seen so much of the world and heard so much from secular individuals that, God's dead. don't you know? Hey, guy, don't you know God died? And all of these things crushed him, to the point where he saw no point. And when this opportunity arose, it was him saying, well, either this is God's will and the center is God, or they're right. And either way, I'm going to find out. And if God's not real, if God truly is dead, and this is just we are simply on a floating rock in the middle of a universe that doesn't give a shit, then I won't be coming back anyway to have to look at people tell me that they told me so. But if he is, I'll have walked the longest, hardest road to see the face of God smile and show that I'm worthy of being here, that I did good, and that I deserve to be redeemed, maybe not even in God's eyes, but maybe in my own. So that's why I took the long road, took the long walk.
All right.
It told me that it's now time to answer my wish, or at least hear it. I shouldn't say answer it. Just like Fungalore, it just hears your wish. Because
and what is your wish?
I have no earthly form. Like, as I'm making this trip into the center, the rest of my skin and clothes and everything else just fall off. I'm just light now. I'm all that I ever will be. So I literally stand naked before God.
And what would your wish be?
To know. To know. Just to know God. Just to truly know God. And to be redeemed in the eyes of God and go on to whatever God has planned for me next.
character's wish and advance
To
judgment.
be redeemed in the eyes of God, to know their love, and to move forward into whatever journey they have for me. Next. Okay.
That's you.
Which is weird because I've got this. There's a song called Space Station by Laserhawk playing right now in the background, and it is the most appropriate song I think I could ever have play.
Nice.
Yes.
You got the most not so easy cards while alive. Using now the Judgment deck, you'll decide how the zone treats the wish by choosing a card from this deck. All right. To redeem in the eyes of God, does the chaplain get their wish?
Okay. Is this me having to come up with a complication, or is this you? Okay.
Deliver the judgment. The chaplain is mysteriously found inside the zone. Describe what happens with their wish.
Okay.
Used to incorporate influences from the other players who embody the game. Give us an epilogue. All right. You ever heard of the Spectre?
I have. You mean the same Spectre that Darkseid is now consumed?
No. The actual Spectre. None of that bullshit.
Jim Corrigan?
Yes.
Jim Corrigan or Crispus Allen?
Uh,
Or Hal Jordan?
Hal Jordan is interesting, but I don't think you actually had a Hal Jordan arc. Close, but not quite. I think that you recognize that there is balance and that things come into balance not in the way that we would consider judgment, but that much like the dark side and the light side of the force, that if you push things too far one way, they will often overcorrect in the other way. And that to be truly kind and understanding is at the heart of what feeds the growth of the universe. And so the chaplain finds themselves outside of the zone in their non-corporeal body, rather this glowing light that dances in the sky when joy is needed, and it can
Reverse Spectre.
Yeah, you're like the Aurora Borealis.
Blue Lanterns.
Yeah, in that you can be that spark of joy that I think that you wish to be in some way, shape, or form, and that you know that there is a need for kindness and joy, and while you can no longer directly influence that, you can shift these cosmic scales by revealing beauty and joy to others. That's,
Okay.
I think, good.
The epilogue. The chaplain goes full blown into this. It just swallows him whole. He becomes this force. He feels that this is God's plan for him. He feels that this is him in service. And what better way to be in service than to bring joy? Do you have questions to ask or
No,
because I have a question to ask you.
Sure. Yeah.
Do we stay with the happy ending? Or do you want me to go to the dark ending?
No, I
Because
don't.
I have a dark ending I could definitely give, but I kind of like this happy ending.
I think that so many of these end in darkness, and I think.
Oh, you know his favorite way to make people happy?
Huh.
He inhabits discarded pets and then brings them to people who want pets.
Yay.
And generally speaking, he also leaves a name tag on them that says Duke.
Oh. Yay. I think good. I think a lot of these will end in terribleness, but I think that that was a uniquely positive ending that is actually quite lovely.
So what was your thoughts?
I don't know. Let's debrief. When we're ready, let's view the final mission report, and then we can talk about it. Is that okay? I don't know what this is. Atheism. There's no. Oh, cool. Yes, but it wasn't so easy. Died in the subway. All right. Yeah. Yeah. What did you think?
I really liked it. I said this while you were gone.
Yeah.
I think a 2-person version of this game is going to be the hardest.
Yes, absolutely.
1 person, single player, you probably have your vision of things,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to tell that story the way you wanted to tell it.
Yeah.
3 or more, you get such a vibe where people are negotiating so much in storytelling.
Yeah.
That you end up getting kind of this interesting conglomeration of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I said this while you were gone. 2 people is very difficult because you and I don't think started at all at the same tone.
No.
And you had to move and I had to move to the center to find the tone.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you get the just there's no mediator.
No, I think that was the most challenging thing. Is like there's certainly times where I felt like either you stepped into the DM. Like I think that sometimes we were directing and sometimes we were DMing.
Yeah, I definitely got that as well. And I don't know if you felt that was a bad thing or you felt like that helped.
I think that at the heart of a DM-less game, it necessitates asking each other questions and not narrating for each other.
Did you feel like it was too much narration then?
The only time I did is when you made a decision about Duke, not me.
Oh, the eating of the heart thing.
Yeah. Like rather than asking a question or trying to kind of direct, I think.
Well, I also only did that because we did it. It gets worse.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that happened anywhere else. I think that was the only time where I felt like I didn't have the agency to react to direction, if that makes sense.
No, that's completely understandable.
But I think it's exactly because of what you described, right? I think with 2 people, there's always going to be that tension and like trying to figure out like tone and, narrative and style and, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think that the idea of being directors of scenes and having that rotate as you go throughout is very interesting. I think the idea of kind of negotiating how many scenes are in each one, because I know that we kind of like moved it along just to kind of like make sure both of us could, go Betty by at a decent hour as well. But I think, we probably could have spent another hour at least, playing that. And so I think but I also think that that's part of the challenge for this would also be to kind of know when to kind of be a director and an editor, but I think doing that by committee is always very interesting,
I think you're dead on that. And I think with another person, it's easier to not feel like you have to like push. You have to like do that, because I did feel like, I mean, especially now that you've said that, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I did do that. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it would be awesome with like 4 people. 5 people, I think would be insane. I think it would be super fun, but it'd be wild.
Yeah.
I think 3 would be better, but I think 4 seems to me like that's the optimum number.
Sweet spot.
I think 1 would be very cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as a journaling game, it works extraordinarily well. I mean, I think that instead of using cards or using other things for the prompts, just having those multiple prompts. I also really like that there was multiple prompts once you got into like setting the scene.
That you could cycle prompts if you were like,
where I was just kind of like, that's not.
I felt like neither one of us realized that early on.
No,
I feel like we would have changed some prompts early.
Yeah, I do too.
To dictate
I think
a little bit.
I think we would have found the tone earlier if we would have done that, or we would have been able to pick up on the tone we wanted to set.
Well, I think we should have talked about it when we did the ratings.
Yeah,
because I was saying this too. I think I went hard R, you went PG-13.
Yeah.
So then we ended up with like PG-17.
Yeah.
Which, I think we were both at points like trying to figure out, okay, how do we bridge that gap a little bit? We got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what makes it interesting though.
Yeah, I agree.
As an exercise.
Yeah.
Also, I love to play. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It is at times hard not to just switch to like
DM,
a more narrator focused interaction. I just don't. I'll be honest. I don't have I'm out of practice probably, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why the idea of being the director rather than being the narrator is very interesting, and that you have questions to ask. And I think that is one of those things that is why I like it as a storytelling game rather than a role-playing game. It's a role inhabiting game, but I don't know that it's a role-playing game, and I like that.
I would agree. That's
because
really well
it ends
put.
up being a really great shared narrative. I think 2 thumbs up.
Definitely 2 thumbs up. Raph, fantastic game.
Probably look at this again for some extra life. So
I think for sure. I think this would be a game if like especially could probably get love from Zach as well.
Yeah.
I think it's right up Zach's alley. I think Colin would freak out about this game. He'd love this. It's a shame he couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ryan would think, or I think Nate would like it.
Yeah.
It's always hard to tell with Ryan in horror.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
To be honest with you, sometimes I think that you ended up in the driver's seat because I just don't. I think that when I was trying to find what our PG-17 was, I wasn't quite sure how. I didn't want to undercook, but I also didn't want to like just drop some napalm in there.
I think that's. getting a feel for that too, because I definitely was like, oh, okay, it's not that type of potty baby. So I definitely was more like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
It can be nasty, but it doesn't need to be that type of nasty.
Yeah, for sure.
So I definitely, as well, I tried to be very cautious of the cautious of like Jesus, jumping Jehoshaphat.
Yeah.
What would Francisco say? So yeah, I tried to be, and I tried to play something not in my comfort zone at all.
Yeah.
If there was a far end of my comfort zone, it would be to play a former Catholic chaplain who is trying to rectify his relationship with God.
Yeah. No, it was great. I thought that me being a soldier and you being a chaplain was kind of a hoot.
Yeah, those roles could have easily switched.
Yeah.
Probably you've been much better suited to do that. I think you probably have a much more positive relationship with religion than I do.
I don't know if I'd say that, but I feel like I can step into that space easier.
Yeah, and I definitely have probably an easier being like the action front person, but I think we both like
it's fun.
Stretched.
I mean, that's why
it was awesome.
I think I tried something that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
Yeah, me too.
I think that nearly any one of those other roles I would have preferred if I was going to play something.
Did you catch yourself looking at those other roles and going, I could do this?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I kind of want to do this.
They were far more appealing. That's why I was like, oh, I think that Ben is not going to pick something that he might normally pick.
Yeah, I was like, I was like thinking the same thing. I was like, I bet James does something different this time.
Yeah,
and I definitely was like, I'm going to go as far out of my comfort zone as possible.
Yeah,
I'm going to spend the whole time talking about God.
I mean, and that's why, honestly, like, I tried finding the tone by being like, yeah, man, I found him. I found him. We're here. We did it. Like, this is it, man. Like, I believe. Let's get you there. I got what I wanted. Let's get you let's get you where you need to go.
And that's why my character was very much like, but did you? Because this seems far too fucking easy.
Amen.
And you know that thing about the devil. You know the devil, right? He's the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. It was awesome, man. I appreciate that you said we're doing this, and then we did it. And it was really, really interesting.
It was fun. I love giving games like this a spin and kicking the tires. It was very.
What is the first Monday of next month? Oh, it's the Monday after Extra Life, huh?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think I'll be doing a one shot or a miniseries game starting that Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe we just get together and talk about Extra Life that night.
Yeah, I think that'd be
how
fun.
It went.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. I think that's what we did last year, and it was really fun. So I think a couple other people stopped by too. But anyway, yeah.
Okay. That was good. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff starting in December. It sounds like on Mondays, on the first Monday of the month. Maybe doing some one shots, but also I have some mini series I want to do. We'll probably come back to DNO in mini series form at some point. I hope the DC game goes well at Extra Life because I definitely have stuff that Matt is already like, well, what about this guy? And I'm like, what about him? He's like, we don't have to use him for Extra Life, but you could use him.
Yeah.
So we already talked about all kinds of stuff on Prep School, and some of it is deep cut, some of it not so much. So it's been good. Beard, where can people find you the rest of this fine week?
Nowhere, baby.
Not doing Friday?
Yeah, I think Friday's gonna work.
Okay.
Yeah, we may.
Do you want to reach out to Colin?
Yeah, I'll reach out. He had conferences and stuff tonight, so
Friday BAG is a maybe. We'll just call it tentative, and we'll be back to Moria. I'm going back to Moria. Tomorrow night is Mangs. Nice. Tomorrow night's Mangs. I don't know. Colin's probably doing Lego. I don't know what I'm working on. Probably dudes. of some type. Maybe I'll work on that automaton dragon a little bit more. I don't know.
Sick. Tune in.
I do have to.
Thank you for watching as always.
Yeah, because I do have to take this guy apart because I am still building my Primal Age Black Manta in Origins form. But I didn't realize that a bunch of this stuff that I thought was just pieces is actually molded on, which is just like, oh shit.
Bummer.
Yeah. All right.
Well, tune in tomorrow night, gang. Find out. I'm gonna go hit the hay.
You don't even have to fuck around. You can just turn it tomorrow and find out.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Stay out the zone.
Woo! It's me, Crafton Colin, back again.
I'm just kidding.
That was tomorrow. That's tomorrow night's music.
Yeah, I know.
Tomorrow, boy.
It's fun to dance to.
Woo! It's me, Crafton.
All right.
I got to move a horror movie to finish.
We'll see you tomorrow with Colin.